Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the Preparing for Post-Secondary Q&A session. Just a friendly reminder, could you go ahead and keep your mics muted so that way Ms. Alonso is able to speak without getting a whole lot of background feedback. As you guys were watching the session, there was a spot for you to ask questions, and I have these questions off to the side that I'll ask Ms. Alonso. And we also have the chat feature available. So as she is speaking, if you have a question that you didn't think of until now, go ahead and put that in the chat feature. And then at the end, we will give you guys the session code. So Ms. Alonso, I think one of the biggest questions that everyone has had, how are you going to handle virtual learning?
Okay, great. So our district is going to go virtual. So we're going to start online. We use Google Classroom. So our Google Classrooms are already set up with our students in there. And the first thing we do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce myself to my students. My classes, I generally have about maybe 8 classes during the day. So we're going to be, I'm going to be looking at how I can introduce myself to them. And I don't know if we're going to be going with the type where they have to log in at the hour that they're supposed to be in my class. We start from 7:30 to 3:30. So I have classes pretty much back to back from 7:30 to 8:20 and then 8:20 to 9 o'clock. Probably I'll have to introduce myself to my students and then show them how to log into iCEV because at my campus, we use it at the 8th grade level. And then I'm the one that introduces them to it actually. And then my co-partner, Mrs. Jimenez in keyboarding, she continues with some of it. But I'm going to be introducing myself first, and then we're going to be starting to show them how to log into iCEV.
That's great. Well, and one of the questions that it says here is, does the grade input in iCEV transfer to Google Classroom? So we recognize that over the spring, a lot of you guys were having issues with the online learning and the Google Classroom, and we did work on integrating that. So yes, from here on out, whenever you guys do Google Classroom, it will grade it and input it in your iCEV gradebook. So we're trying to help out with that a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
We're really excited that we were able to get that feature in for all of y'all. Okay, Ms. Alonso says, what trade schools do your students attend?
Trade schools. So we are connected with South Texas College, and we also have Texas State Technical College, TSTC, in Harlingen, and STC in Westaco, which happens to be right across the street from the high school.
Oh, that's great. So, and are there specific programs at these schools that a lot of your kids enter, or is it pretty diversified?
Industrial, like welding. They do a lot of industrial type things, and they also have like the law enforcement program, and they do business classes, and they do health science. So they have all different areas that the students are able to learn from.
Oh, that's great.
You know, we have an early college that starts our kids off the 2nd semester of their freshman year, taking college classes already.
That's awesome.
So we're doing really a lot, pushing a lot of the STC programs so that the kids can get a jump ahead on their futures, actually.
Yeah, that's great. Do your students participate in any certificate programs?
My students in 8th grade, no. But I know in the high school we use it, we use iCEV also, and the students do their certifications in different areas.
And have you noticed, since you have 8th graders, have Have you been able to talk to any of the high school teachers that have your students, and has iCEV and the way that you teach it, your program, has that helped them in other courses?
Oh, yes, we have some, we do a lot of collaborating with our high
Mhm.
school teachers. And, you know, I talk to them a lot, especially the business teachers.
Mhm.
And, you know, they appreciate that we've introduced them into the ICEV programs
Mhm.
so that when they get to the high school, um, they already know how to log in, they already know
Mhm.
how to register, and they can go ahead and they can pretty much jump right in. And
Oh, that's great.
the teachers will incorporate different things from the areas that they're doing
Mhm.
in the high school, like, you know, business letters and memos and
Right.
other areas that they might need to learn about.
Oh, that's great. And then one more question. I know whenever we talked at the beginning of the summer, you mentioned that you also do the career cluster inventory. And have you noticed that with some of the trade schools, have your students found their interest in the career cluster inventory and then gone on to school for that, or do they usually change their mind in between?
Generally, the career cluster inventory hits it right on the head of the
Mhm.
nail. So they answer the questions, and then, you know, it tells them, okay, your interest should be in health science, and they're like, "Ah, that's what I wanted to do." Well, great. Then you see, you know, it really gives them the oomph, you know, to, oh
Mhm.
wow, I really am interested in that. Because a
Right.
lot of kids, you know, they go into something because their parents want them to do it, or
Mhm.
because, you know, well, my dad's in law enforcement, so I'm gonna do that too.
Mhm.
But once they do the interest inventory and then it reiterates what they thought they were going to
Mhm.
be good at, you
Mhm.
know, they're like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do in high school. And, you know, they sign up for that right away. And we go through the classes and I show them what they need to pick and um, what steps they're going to have to take after
Mhm.
high school to get to where they want to be.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. So one of these questions, it says, so if I only have the teacher license, what can I play the videos for my students and send them assignments? Will they be graded? That is a really good question. With the student license, it will grade the interactive activities for you. You can still share your activities and the videos with your students. You can download them, but it won't do the graded aspect for you as a teacher. So I wasn't sure who asked that question. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to answer that for you. So thank you so much, Miss Alonso. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are asking for a copy of her presentation, we will have those slides available for downloading. So check back on the platform here in the next few days, next week. Clayton has included the session code for you in the chat. It's second SECOND 041. So one more time, your session code is second SECOND 041. Thank you guys so much, and I hope y'all have a wonderful year.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Alonso.
Bye-bye.